just soak that whole moment in, and obviously to win in the fashion we did and just everything, it was just such a good memory.
All right, now it's time for the guest of honor today, as we are thrilled to welcome in Dallas Stars forward Justin Hryckowian to the show. Justin, thanks so much for doing this.
He's got the same decorator that Sam does in the background.
Do you think that's why they get along so well?
Apparently, yeah, I like that.
So
just nothing.
He picked a spot so
you even moved your clothes out of the way back there. Are you living in a hotel or where are you at?
No, I got this new apartment. I kind of just bundle myself up in the closet here, so that's good.
He just doesn't want to show any of what he has. He wants to avoid being judged by all the Twitter decorators out there.
Might have somebody tied up in there.
Well, leave him up to that. But Justin, we certainly have been very big fans of yours. We affectionately started calling you Ritzy Ritz on the show a lot. I'm sure you've heard that before, but we were just, I don't know how much you heard as you were connecting, but we've been talking about hits and physicality, and you certainly, this doesn't seem like you have to veer away from your game to do what Glen Gulutzan and the coaching staff are asking for. It seems like that's always been a part of your game. What do you see differently, the difference from that St. Louis game, the first game of the road trip, where you guys got out hit, won the game, but Gully wasn't happy. The coaching staff said that it was 40-10 or something, whatever the numbers were, compared to Vegas, Utah, and then Winnipeg last night.
Yeah, I think, we watched some clips after that St. Louis game, and there was just a lot of opportunities that, sometimes in the game you don't even think about, especially as forwards, like just opportunities to get in front of a guy and disrupt his flow and his momentum, and kind of just, he already traveled the distance. That's something coach says a lot. You travel distance, might as well get into him. And obviously the first job is to try and stop the puck and create a turnover with a good stick. And after that, get into the other guy. And, I think it just adds up as we go. And I think after seeing the video, I think it kind of opened our eyes a bit to kind of, maybe what we've been steering away from over the last little bit. And I think we kind of made a conscious effort to apply it over the last couple of games, and it's made a difference.
This is always in your game, though, right? I mean, I'm talking about right from Sioux City, right? That it's always been part of who you are that makes you the player that you are. Yeah,
I'd like to think so. I think kind of take pride in playing the game the right way and just doing a little bit of everything, and whichever way you can help the team win. Obviously, it's not always going to be making plays and scoring goals, so I'm just trying to lead by example in any way and contribute in any way too.
Let me ask you, Justin. So when you guys come into the locker room, how does Gully do the lines? So I mean, is it on the board? Because back in the day with us, it would just be the jerseys are hanging in there, and for a defenseman, you didn't know because they were all black, right? But it was amazing to walk in the mornings and see blue, 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 and guys would just stand there and kind of look around. And this is especially after you lose 2 or 3 games. Then all hell breaks loose. You're like, what am I playing with that guy for? So how does Gully do the lines?
Like practice?
Yeah, when you come in, because you pretty much know, okay, we got a game tomorrow night, and all of a sudden I'm on a different line. How does Gully do it?
Yeah, there's usually a lineup sheet that goes on the board right outside the dressing room. So right before practice, probably an hour before they hang it up or whatever, and then the equipment managers will put out the jerseys accordingly after. So yeah, there's usually a sheet, and guys give it a quick look, and yeah.
Okay, so tell me what happened the day you walked in and you see 53 and 96 and 49, or did you know the day before? Because I'm assuming Gully, being the guy that he is, he may have talked to you prior to that.
Yeah, it was actually it was kind of weird because we had I think it was a practice day before our game against Boston, and Moose was actually sick, but I remember that practice. I was skating with Johnny, and Bass was filling in for Moose's spot. But so that was kind of the first glimpse at it, and the idea that maybe that was happening. But obviously, Mikko didn't end up playing against Boston, and we ended up kind of switching plans and whatever. So I didn't know if we were ever going to go back to it or whatever. And I think we played as soon as Moose got back. We ended up going to it. So I think it was that game in St. Louis our first time, and I was fired up, obviously. I mean, you get a chance to play with guys like that, and it obviously gives you a little pep in your step, and obviously too, it's just good recognition as well. Whatever I'm doing is getting noticed, and to kind of just keep pushing.
Okay, I know Owen wants to get in here. Owen's going to talk the rest of the show, I'm just going to get in my last one probably, but I want to stay on that. So the first game, I had even made a comment. I'd be very interested to see how you play the game when you're playing with two guys like that, right? And so I remember you had in the offensive zone, was on the left side, left wing in the offensive zone, somewhere around the top of the circle, face-off dot, and you had a clear lane to the net. You made a pass to your right over to Wyatt. And then there was another one where you were in the slot and you made a pass over to Rantanen. He was below the goal line. So my question is, did you feel that I need to get those guys the puck?
Yeah, I think kind of that's what most people will say, and like I don't know, like think when you go play with such good players, you're a little jittery, I guess, and you're trying to make sure they get the puck where they want, and but at the end of the day, those guys want me to play, and those guys want me to contribute to the line and not just give them the puck and get out of the way. So yeah, I think probably initially just trying to get a feel for them as players and what they like to do, and pick my spots on when to do things. So it's still a feeling out process, but yeah, I'd say so. Those first couple games, especially, I was kind of maybe a little more passive, but yeah, still trying to find that balance and trying to complement them in the best way.
It's interesting because we were talking about it. You don't look like last night. You look less deferential. I know that's what you were talking about, right? I got to defer to those big guys. I mean, it's human nature. You go there and you look at Mikko Rantanen and go, man, he's a superstar in this league. I'm playing with him. Or Wyatt Johnston with his league-leading 18 power play goals. I'm like, I got to get those guys the puck. But do you feel more comfortable after several games playing with them of not maybe – I'm not saying that you're absolutely like, I can't shoot, but just I'm starting to get a better idea of what we do as a trio like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they're two really smart hockey players, and so am I. So I think that's kind of we're all reading off each other. And personally, I wouldn't say I'm like a end-to-end one-on-one type player. I think I like to play a little give and go and play off each other. Set picks and give and go, get to net, stuff like that. And I think they kind of see the game similar way. So I think that takes a little bit of time to develop, but you can feel it coming over here a little bit, and we're trying to just keep getting better. But yeah, I think last night was a good step forward, and just got to keep it going.
I think it's an interesting comparison of your last, week and a half to the start of your first full season in the NHL, right? This rookie season of doing the same. It's probably the same as starting out as a rookie in the AHL, as your first pro games. How, when this season began, right, you're trying to get a job, you're trying to earn a spot, and then you get it. And now I don't know if you had the awe factor for very long, because now, look, there's Sidney Crosby, there's Connor McDavid, Mikko Rantanen, Nathan McKinnon. I mean, you guys played the President's Trophy winners in the first game of the season. Then you play McKinnon, Makar, the Avalanche, the second. I know it wasn't your first pro games, a big NHL game, and not your first NHL. You got ones last year, but was that bright lights and awe a factor, or did you get over that pretty quickly?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there was too much of that. I think more it was just like I was so fired up, like I think I was all summer I've been working towards this and building off last year, and I just really want to come into camp and make a huge impression. And it was actually happening. Like I felt it coming each game in preseason, week by week. I was like, oh, like it's happening. Like I'm like I feel like I'm knocking on the door. Oh, like I might make the opening night roster, like whatever. And as that went, I was taking a lot of energy, and each day, just a lot of unknown and kind of just living day by day. I was soaking it all in and trying to stay in it. And I think, just trying to contribute in any way. Obviously, like I know how good of a team this group was last year, and I was just trying to chip in any way I can, and bang a couple bodies, get to net, frustrate the opponent, whatever. And I didn't want to step on anyone's toes in a sense early on, especially, and kind of gain the respect of my teammates, my peers, and coaching staff. So yeah, it was a whirlwind, especially at the beginning. I think I was just in over my head at the beginning, just trying to learn all the spots on the road and just travel, all that, and the day to day. And I think it caught up to me probably energy wise the first month or so. Just yeah, like I said, I was juiced. I was trying to do anything I can to stick in this league, and so yeah. But I think I've kind of settled in a bit and figured it out a bit.
Did you have a certain player that you wanted to play against? Not with, but was there somebody that you were kind of looking forward to, some of the guys that Owen mentioned? Was there one of them players that you said, I can't wait to play against this guy?
Yeah, I'd say Crosby probably. Yeah, I think just obviously everyone knows how good of a player he is, and kind of looked up to him a lot growing up, and playing against him was pretty special moment.
Luds has a great line about Crosby. He calls him a, elite world class player that plays like a third liner, and with the work ethic and how hard he plays. As somebody that's idolized him, how do you see Sidney Crosby in his game?
Yeah, I think that's pretty well said. I think there's not many holes in his game at all, honestly. Like, I think he can do just about everything, and he could easily, if he wanted to, he could have sacrifice the defensive end or the little details of the game to try and contribute more offensively. But I think he chose to play the hard way, and I think for him, it clearly worked, and he was able to win Stanley Cups and gold medals because of that. Because come playoff time, he didn't really have to change much, and his game stayed the same throughout the whole year. And he's an impressive player, obviously, to watch and follow. So,
I'm curious about your opportunity last night going down on Hellebuyck. And but don't look. You got to look like you're disappointed because you didn't score. And the guy's been MVP twice. Big deal. So
nice catch.
I didn't say anything.
No, you didn't. Close.
But did you have a plan? But because it seems people don't understand. Well, I don't even understand, for God's sakes. I've never been in that position, but I would have dumped it in.
I was going to say you should tell Justin the story.
No, I don't need to tell him that
story.
I came out of the penalty box one time and I got the puck and I had a breakaway. And the guys on the bench were all yelling, "Dump it in!" So I did. I dumped it in. And I went to the bench. Do you have a plan? I mean, do you see anything, or is there anything in particular you're looking for in that moment?
I think personally, I'd probably have like a handful of things I'm thinking about as I go, like in terms of I'm either doing this shot or this move in a sense. And as I look up at the last second, it's kind of a split second decision. I know I scored like similar shot in San Jose, and I was kind of thinking similar kind of thing. And actually, we just shoot out sometimes in morning skate and all that, and it worked that morning and whatever. So I felt kind of a no brainer. I wasn't really thinking, it was just go to it. And obviously you got a piece of it with his glove. So
can you explain to people that are listening, like, what do you see or what don't you see going against someone the size of Hellebuyck?
Yeah, I think it happens fast. Obviously, I think you're just going in. You stick on the puck a couple of times, you pick your head up, and you got to make that decision within half a second. And obviously, a guy of his size and how good he is as well, like he's obviously taking up a lot of the net. And I think you're trying to look for any hole you can. And if you see a little bit of net, which it's rare with these goalies in the NHL, but if you see a little bit of net, you just got to take it and hope for the best. So.
I want to go back to Crosby for real quick. That was the day of our first Stars takeover, where we, as a show, a bunch of our diehards all went to the game. We sat in the stands rather than the press box. December 7th, it's a Sunday. You're playing the Penguins. You guys obviously rallied. It was a fun game. Do you say anything to Sidney Crosby, or are you just sitting there seeing, hey, he's right there, I'm playing against him? Like, do you approach him at all?
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that's really my style. I mean, obviously, I got so much respect for him as a player, and a lot of guys in this league, obviously. But at the same time, I mean, we're trying to beat them, and I'm a competitor first. So, I think it was all business that day, but it was obviously super cool to look back on.
So you grew up in Montreal. Are you still but being a Crosby fan, like, are you watching Pens games, or did you watch a lot of the Canadiens?
Yeah, I watched a lot of Habs growing up still. I think it was just easy to watch, and we'd usually watch it on the French broadcast too. So, yeah, nothing better than the Habs growing up. I mean, you're always following those guys, and even now I feel like I'm still, like, there's games on TV, I'll usually lean towards them. Just very exciting team, and obviously, you got a bunch of friends and family who are still rooting for them. So,
do you still? I see that you were. I don't know. Were you just born in Nilbazar? Do you still live there?
Still live there, yeah.
You had some pretty famous guys that were living out there, like Larry Robinson was out there, and Steve Shutt, and So did you ever get to run into any of them guys? Probably not. You're probably too young, eh?
Yeah, none of those guys. Like I know Vinny Lecavalier runs around there a lot, and I've ran into him a couple times, but none of those guys you mentioned. But obviously, yeah, I know the history of guys from around there. It's pretty rich, so it's cool.
So you go back to November 13th and you get an assist at the Bell Center. And I don't know how many friends and family you had in the stands. I think there was quite a few, if I remember correctly. I've been to Bell Center. I've never played on the ice, of course, but I think it's the best venue in the NHL. I'm not just saying that because you're from there. I was there doing a AHL game back in the day, and on a Sunday afternoon between Adirondack and Hamilton, there were 15,000 fans. The place, Luds, you won a Stanley Cup there, right? I mean, it's just different. Was that like the pinnacle of your young career so far, is to play on that ice sheet in the NHL?
Yeah, that was special. I mean, I think, I probably had like 70, 80 people come together for that game. So it was a fun time, obviously, and exciting for everyone like involved, like parents and coaches and everything. So just soaked that whole moment in, and obviously to win in the fashion we did and just everything. It was just such a good memory. And even just the morning skate, the practice day there, like just looking up at the rafters and stuff, like it's special. And the Montreal fans are so passionate, and there's nothing quite like that building. So yeah, just being able to do that, I think I was able to really say after that, like, I could tell myself when I went to bed, like, at least say I did it, like I made it in front of my family and stuff, and that's something I can hang on to. And obviously there's so much more I want to accomplish and stuff, but I'll always have that.